Marriagepreneur. Welcome back to the Marriagepreneurs Podcast, a space where faith, partnership, and purpose-driven entrepreneurship meet. I'm your host, LaKisa Taylor-Allston, and today I'm sitting down with someone whose journey is powerful, layered, and full of wisdom. He's a realtor, investor, contractor, and mentor, a man who has rebuilt, reimagined, and realigned his life with intention. My good friend, Sean Ledbetter. Sean's story is one of transition from a previous marriage into an entrepreneurial marriage that thrives on vision, partnership, and purpose. So we're talking about what it really looks like to build as an entrepreneurial couple. How he and his wife, Kenite, laid the foundation for shared vision, and how real estate became a catalyst for him with growth, clarity, and legacy. Please welcome Sean Ledbetter to the Marriagepreneurs Podcast.
Well, sis, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Can I get a copy of that? That sounds amazing. Are you talking about me?
I am talking about you. I am absolutely talking about you. And one of the reasons why I wanted you to be one of my first guests is because you actually asking me years ago about, I don't know if the question was framed like, how did you meet your marriagepreneur or your entrepreneurial husband? Because it wasn't the word marriagepreneur, but it was like, how did you meet your entrepreneurial husband? And people ask me that, ask Amu that and everything. Yeah. But when you asked me that question, I really had to start thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And I started the podcast journey so that was like at least 3, because how long have you and Kenite been married now?
It'll be 3 years in July.
Right. So it was at least a year before that. Yep. And I first launched this journey in 2022. So you're kind of the inspiration of the thought leadership that I've
been trying to push you
now.
off the ledge because you've had the idea, you've had the vision.
I have.
But you just needed someone to just give you a little nudge.
And that's some of the things that I'm talking about is people not moving in fear as entrepreneurs. That's something that we definitely have to get away from. Yeah. But also being clear in our purpose.
Sure.
And what we're doing.
Yeah.
And for me, that has also been my entrepreneurial husband. Mm-hmm. Some of the ideas that I've had in my mind that's felt like dreams that may never come true. Mm-hmm. He's helped make them to come a reality. Yeah. So, and I remember before you and Kenite married, and I came to one of your
swag events.
Socializing
with a goal.
Yes. And I was like, hey. What about her? Because she was making her presentation when I came in. Yeah. And in my, 4th, 5th, whatever life, I've always been like a hook-upper in my mind. I like to hook people up. But anyway, she seemed like the perfect person, and you guys were dating at the time. So
Just started dating
at the time. So it was a good call.
Great call.
It was a great call.
Yeah, it was a great call.
Yes.
You mentioned purpose, and, when I tell people from an entrepreneurship perspective, it's really the passion that ignites the vision, that ignites you to start the business, but it's the purpose that keeps it going when things don't go your way, right?
Yes.
So you need both the passion, but you really need the purpose, because when you thought what it's going to be like doesn't come to fruition, it's the purpose that keeps you
absolutely
staying, ahead and focused on why you started the business.
Yes.
So you need both.
And some of this that Sean is sharing with us right now, this is where his mentorship for other people really shines. And as I've been to some of his seminars, and he's always going to be motivated. And that's the other thing. When we pour into people, pour into others, that's part of this journey for us. Yeah. And seeing, and you genuinely wanting to see, like you said, you've been pushing me. We call each other.
We push one another.
Yeah. Yes. And we talked about that, having, great partners in your life. Yeah. In alignment, people that you can build with.
Absolutely.
And having that spirit of, we want to see everybody win.
Yeah.
So I mentioned, and we're not going to focus on the negative, but you lived through two very different seasons of marriage. What's the biggest mindset shift you had entering into an entrepreneurial marriage with Kenite?
I think one of it, like we just talked about, is the purpose aspect of it, right? We both are entrepreneurs. I don't like to say I'm an entrepreneur because I'm dual career, right? I've been in IT for over 25 years. And the blessing that I have in this is I love both real estate and I love IT. But my purpose and passion is really in real estate. I've been focused on real estate even before I became a realtor, even before I became a property manager and owning my own real estate investment company. I was going to meetups 10 years prior to that. So I knew that this is something I wanted to do. But to have a wife that to me is a entrepreneur, because she's a full-time entrepreneur. She does it, full-time for the last 13, 14 years. She has to eat what she kills. She has to kill what she eats or eat what she kills, right? Meaning that with me, I have a W-2. Granted, I work hard, but when you are a full-time entrepreneur and you actually have to kill what you eat, that's a different type of entrepreneurship.
It absolutely is.
And so there's a balance with it because we have some stability with me having a W-2 that allows me for us to be on my insurance. So there are some perks both ways. And then by her being a full-time entrepreneur, there's some benefits there as well, right? So it's
and
really
probably
good.
you all have the understanding, the shared vision of how you are, pouring into those different pots in your life. I mean, that's one of the things, especially when I'm talking to people, that yes, there are plenty of people that have 9-to-5 jobs that are not full-time entrepreneur.
Right.
But if you want to build your legacy, if you want to have something more than the status quo, having a side business or something that you own is supporting your dreams. And we talked about the how government shut down and everything. With this area, we see it a lot, and how building your own business, the company can't take away your gifts. They can't take away your talent. They can't take away your dreams. And learning how to put that into something for you, even if it's on a small scale, I think is an amazing thing to do. But you have relationships in which even when you may have a 9-to-5, but when you start working those entrepreneurial dreams, that could become a problem for the other spouse for whatever reason. Which is why you still have to have the communication and still have to have a shared vision, because what you're doing outside of your 9-to-5 is for the greater good of us.
Absolutely. And it's been a challenge sometimes because by me having a 9-to-5, my 9-to-5 is very challenging on what I do. And I'm there for 8, 9, 10 hours, which means that when I come home, I need to have somebody who understands that now I have to work on my entrepreneurship businesses, right? It's not just one business. I have a nonprofit and I have a for-profit, a couple for-profits, right? I have property manager, real estate, traditional real estate, real estate investing. On our
business cards these days?
Licensed Maryland Home Improvement licensed contractor. So having all those things, you got to have a spouse that understands that when I come home, sometimes I may need to do other things, but also I have to also still be intentional about my marriage, because that is, the priority is my marriage. Right. It's a benefit knowing that my wife is also an entrepreneur and she understands the importance of having to, work long hours, to take care of your
taking the
family.
extra time to get things done, or you may have to make certain sacrifices. It's not all the time, but it's some of the time.
One of my mentors, may God rest his soul, his name is Reverend Dennis Cooper. And what I'm reminded of, he worked a job 30 years, never missed a job, never missed a day at work. He got sick, and right before he passed away, they let him go. And one of the things about jobs, you just mentioned that, like, you could work a job 30, 40 years, but God forbid something happens to you, they're going to, mourn you for a day, but they're going to get somebody else in your slot. And you worked all that time and you cannot leave anything to your legacy. And so that's, for me, was always an eye-opener, that you just can't have a W-2, a 9-to-5, because we know with COVID and other things that are happening, you got to have more than one iron in the fire.
And we need, especially in our community, like I think we definitely need to be more intentional about legacy. We just had, not just had, but Black History Month and everything, and trying to save. We have people intentionally trying to erase our history and everything. But what becomes also important is just your family history, your family legacy, and what you're building, for what you to stand on. I'm definitely standing on the last couple of generations of, my life to be able to be in this space, in this place. I don't have any children necessarily to pass it on, but this is part of my legacy. I was here. She got this done. And it's definitely something that I can, because it's faith-based, that I know God will continue to breathe in so it can pour into couples even beyond my time. Recently...
You gave me that look.
No, it's not. This is a good thing. This is like a little more of the marriage, less of the business right now in this next conversation, because we went out recently, had a double date, had a good time. And what I love, we wanted to go to this concert. Well, I wanted to go to this concert. So we called you guys up and said, hey, you want to join us and everything? Because also couples to couples, I think protecting the love is important so that your marriage doesn't become all business.
100%.
So my question to you is, how do you protect your marriage in that particular space? Because both of you are entrepreneurs and have some. How do you all intentionally protect that space of your marriage?
I mean, you just said it. I mean, you have to be intentional about the relationship. It just can't be all business, right? It has to be me wanting to serve her, right, in the way she needs to be served.
Thank you.
Right?
I love that word.
And vice versa, right?
Yes,
that's
vice
the scripture,
versa.
right? That's Bible. It talks about
Vice versa.
serving one another, right?
Yes.
And submitting to one another. And so because we both are believers, we try to focus everything that we do based on biblical foundation.
Yeah.
Right? One of the things I've learned, because this is my second marriage, one of the things that I've learned in relationships are very similar to building a house, right? A house have three major components. It has a foundation, it has a roof, and it has structure, right? It has beams for structure. And so when you look at the foundation, you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it from a worldly perspective, and the foundation from a worldly perspective is normally your past and your upbringings.
Yes.
Okay.
Your taught and learned behavior.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Your roof is normally your feelings. Okay. And then you have the structure. You have really five things that are really associated with that. Your convictions, your communication, your compromise, your company that you keep, right? Those things really are the foundation of who you really are.
Yeah.
So when you are, that foundation is based off of your past and your upbringing, and then your feelings. When the storm comes, the roof starts to leak, which means it affects the structure.
And if you haven't done that healing,
everything
we're
crumbles.
talking about that a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you building on biblical foundations, the foundation should be Christ. The roof should be the covenant, right? And then the structure will be solid. So when the rain comes, that covenant that you have, if you're married with your spouse, with God, or even if it's just you and God, that covenant will build a solid foundation and will build a solid home.
Yes.
But oftentimes, I learned in relationships, when we are not rooted in Christ, the foundation is not Christ, we struggle. We struggle in relationships. We struggle in business. Everything else falls in line with wherever we're focusing, that foundation.
And again, and this is not part of the loose script. And Sean's over here interviewing to be like my first speaker for the Love and Legacy Tour.
Okay.
But that rooted in Christ, that rooted in faith part, I think also, as we see, I mean, women go to church more than men.
Yeah.
And part of this segment, Husbands and Purpose, it's like we have to encourage the brothers to be a lot more rooted in faith. I mean, I'm sure there's a personal story of why you are rooted in your faith, why God is to you who he is to you. I mean, is there something you can enlighten or share? Something that I want you to speak to other men.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, life is the greatest lesson. And for me, in my first marriage, we had a son that was 2 months premature that passed away. Oh. And so as a father, not having control of what happened, I had to trust God.
Amen.
Right? And to go through that process, knowing that this is something I couldn't control, I had to lean on him. And that's when my faith grew, because when you go through challenges in life, and it could be, death in the family, death of a child, death of anything, loss of a job. There's certain things in life that happens that it's going to be outside of your control.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're going to have to make a choice. Are you going to lean on Christ, or are you going to lean on your past, your upbringing, Big Mama's faith? You know what I mean? At some point, it's going to have to be.
Faith.
It's not your faith.
It's your
right.
Yes.
So at some point, everybody will have an opportunity to trust Him
for themselves, and know Him for themselves.
And for me, that was one of the major things that really.
Yeah, and it takes. I mean, in both men and women, I definitely think significant events.
Absolutely.
Mindset surrender shift is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
But it's that giving your all part. Letting go and let God. It's not a cliche. It's not just a T-shirt message. It's like you have to cast your cares, leave it over there, let Him have His way. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to trust Him," and then still try to do things on your own that He didn't tell you to do.
Yeah.
That you think it's your spirit of discernment, so you acted. That's probably did you act because you wanted to act, or did you really act because God told you to act?
And I think that's why purpose is so important for entrepreneurs, because as entrepreneurs, we are atypical most type, and we are focus driven. So we like to think that it's us. We're doing it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why it's important to have the purpose behind it, because when purpose is behind it, then it's not for you, it's for Christ.
Exactly.
And so oftentimes we got to look at the gifts that God has given us, and we can control those gifts, but we have to understand that those gifts are for serving people.
Right.
Right. And so at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about serving. And so when I started my business, that's what God gave me. He said, the business is going to be, it's called Unique Property Investment. It started out as a real estate investment company. And the tagline was, transforming homes, positively impacting communities, and making a difference, right? Because at the time, Prince George's County was doing really bad in regards to trying to recover from the real estate crisis. And so what I wanted to do was, I wanted to continue to, build up my community, and then bring in somebody who's going to appreciate this, because I know that generational wealth comes from real estate.
Right.
Right. So if I can transform the home, if I can bring in a family that's going to create a legacy through that, and then the making a difference piece is, then God said, all right, now create a nonprofit. So some of the proceeds goes to the nonprofit that helps out with community initiatives.
Which is one of our prosperity points. Amu and I have specific giving goals. We support our church through Lot Carey. That's what we do. But I definitely think you should have identified something in which you're willing to give back, and be intentional about it, because that for me was definitely a shift when we became more intentional about that. But I want you to repeat your tagline again for Unique Property. Repeat that, or your mission.
Transforming homes, positively impacting community, and making a difference.
Exactly. And the reason why I asked you to do that is because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're not being clear on our objectives. We have the ideas, we have the vision, but now we need to be clear. And a lot of times you have to be clear for yourself. Mine was for real estate was unlocking the potential, and for your home, and for that, and it could be because we do the real estate and we do the home and design. It could go either way, because when we go into help people remodel bathrooms and kitchen, we want you to love the space you're in.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we're just living in the house, but you don't love it. You should walk into your home that you're paying X amount of dollars every month and love the space that you're in.
Absolutely.
And I know you got to get to that, but we're here to help you unlock that. Maybe you can't do the $50,000 bathroom remodel, although we would love you to, but you could maybe do the $20,000 or $15,000 bathroom remodel, and we're going to help you kind of figure that out, But you have to be, as entrepreneurs, intention with your purpose, even what you're doing. So then you have to come in and be that clear. The Marriagepreneurs, you'll see everywhere, is I help entrepreneurial couples find balance and thrive in their marriages. And from that,
so much needed.
I can develop this podcast. From that, I've developed a 5-day challenge.
Yep.
From that, I have the Marriagepreneur book series. And I'm going to run with that for the next 18 months. Like, I really don't need to create anything else.
Absolutely. And not just entrepreneurs, mainly entrepreneurs, but every couple needs that. Mm-hmm. Because oftentimes, you get to a point where you get stuck.
Yeah.
Whether it's you've had kids, you've raised your kids for 18 years, and now you're looking at your spouse as empty nesters, and you don't know her and she don't know you because you've been focused on so many other things.
Exactly.
Then now it's trying to figure out, okay, how do we love each other?
Yeah.
Right? And so when you have that on top of you're trying to run a business in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a war, in the middle of all the things that we're dealing with, there's a lot of dynamics that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to stay grounded in Christ, but then you also have to be intentional and committed to one another and understanding what the goals are individually and collectively, knowing that at the end of the day, it's for the greater good.
Yeah. And that's why when I asked you about the protecting the love and how you do that, and date nights always welcome, men and women.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, because are we the only ones supposed to be initiating the date nights?
No.
Okay.
Listen, I have my husband's credit card. That's number one.
Okay.
So I don't mind making a reservation, booking the tickets if we go somewhere to see. I mean, we have a conversation.
So basically, he's making the reservation. You're making the phone call.
I'm making that because he's out hammering, nailing, and replacing HVAC systems. So for me to have an expectation that he's going to be Fabio, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Especially because we're married.
Right.
But do I want to have now, for my birthday this year, he takes the moment where it's all on him. He likes to surprise me every now and then. Mm-hmm. But we had a conversation just the other day. I said, I planned a real date night. Well, he said, well, a couple of weeks ago, I took you to Mission Barbecue. I'm like, I had an enjoyable time at the Mission Barbecue. I did.
So does it always have to be a 5-star restaurant?
No, it does not always have to be.
Can it be just holding hands and walking?
I'm serious. We had a good time. It can absolutely be that.
Okay.
And I do say to women, it can, because what the quality time together was what was most important.
Right.
We went down to Annapolis. Yes, we held hands and walked the waterfront.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
Now, were you on your phone and he's on his phone?
No.
Because often I see that. That's what Kenita and I, we'll look and we'll see what people are doing. Because here's the deal. I'm just from a man's perspective. Mm-hmm. When I was dating and now when I'm married, right? Who wants to go out and spend $250 on a meal and you taking selfies and scrolling? Yeah. I can sit at home and do that, right?
Yes. And I do think we definitely as couples have to be conscious about that. Yeah. I think men and women. Because it's become part of our society. And now my iPad won't talk to me, but it's become part of the culture to do that. I mean, because our phones we do everything on our phones. Yeah. But yes, sometimes you have, and we see the memes and the little videos, the reels going around that says, put your phone down, touch your spouse more, that type of thing. And so those things we need to be reminded of, I think. Yeah. But no, we intentionally took a moment at the Mission Barbecue.
Now I would say in my relationship, Kenita, she loves what she does. Mm-hmm. It's not just a job. It's both of our businesses is purpose driven businesses, right? And so she can work from 6 to 8, with just, it used to be a cup of coffee, but she don't drink coffee anymore, and one meal, and just will constantly work. Mm-hmm. And she had to admit, so we just got back from Cabo. We went to a friend's wedding, which was absolutely amazing.
Yes, I saw y'all.
And she went kicking and screaming. Like, it's tax season, Oh,
I'm not kicking and screaming on any vacation now.
She kicked and screamed.
I'm taking my computer. I will work on the beach if that's what I have to do.
But once she got on the vacation, she realized she needed it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that's another thing. Like, as couples, we got to recognize, and the other person, the spouse, has to be open to the coaching of, hey, babe, like,
from the other spouse.
Yeah, like, listen, like, we need to take a vacation.
Yes.
Like, you need to just
sometimes
relax.
And sometimes you have to do that. And I do encourage, I hope when people, as they're reading the book, that I'm not from the 1950s, and the man version is coming, so everybody don't worry.
Thank you.
But I'm not from the 1950s, but it's about when I watched my grandparents, who were not entrepreneurs, they were from the South, but they served each other well.
Yeah.
And they were two of the happiest people in love that I knew. They just were basic skill of serving each other well, looking out for each other. You know, I mean, definitely like my grandmother would not use this terminology, but if you say ride or die couple, like that's it. You see him, you're going to see her most times. You know, they had their interdependence of each other, but they knew each other well. They knew where they were going. They knew what they wanted, even for us as their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you do have to do the coaching. And as I think about it, the strengths and weaknesses, my grandfather only had up to a 6th grade education. But people in the country thought they were like rich because they did so much with so little that they had.
So I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I think what happened was in the 1970s when they introduced welfare. Because what happened was they took the father out of the household, right? So they introduced welfare. In order for you to get welfare, the father can't be in the household. So that really broke down the family dynamics. Once you took the father out of the household, then all of those family structure things went away.
Yeah.
Right? So you think about your grandparents, right? All of those things, the values of what a woman brings to the table, which is the nurturing, all of those things, and then the father for the discipline. Once that was gone, a lot of things went away.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of the family structure went away, which has broken down what we see today. You know, and so that's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It is. But we have to, we were just talking about, you know, protecting the love. That's part of the protecting the love, the coaching each other. Recognizing, being so in tune with each other, and because you've communicated all those things, recognizing my spouse needs my support emotionally and maybe physically right now. I'm going to physically say we're going to this wedding, you know, and she had a great time, you know, and that also further led it. Right now, I'm trying to find, our business is growing great.
Yeah.
We need more labor help. Actually, both of us do, but he needs it more than I because I'm trying to protect his physical health.
Yep.
You know, because of what he does. And that's how it should be. You know, you're married for the we's, not for the I's.
I like it.
And, you know, if we going to just be out there by ourselves, you know, what's the point of it all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of covers the shared vision, how you staying aligned.
Yep.
In business. If the business is pulling you in different directions, you kind of just answered that for me. How I would say you've answered a little bit, but if you can expand on how the entrepreneurial part of your journey or real estate was a major pillar in your journey. I know the story that you've shared many times about your first property, how that's been a major pillar in your journey and how it shaped your identity as an entrepreneur. In general, you and I share, and I tell people, whether they're a hairstylist, a musician, especially these creatives, I try to tell them, get an investment property.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know it's not that easy, but what I'm saying is, even if you don't want to buy a home, even if you're staying with your parents because you're trying to pursue a certain endeavor, you might be able to, if you have a job, you might be able to qualify for a house, make that a rental property.
Yeah.
Because as you are being creative in this time, and we know how that can go sometimes, it's something else for you to fall back on.
100%.
And the property management piece, also, that's something else that you could do leasing if you don't do the property management. But that's something, and a lot of people still need folks. There are a lot of folks who still need in between type of representation.
Yeah.
I almost gave it up during COVID, but that's what saved me during COVID because the residential sales side definitely went down.
Oh, yeah.
But the property management piece is what remained.
Yes.
And that's when I saw that. I was like, wow, this is my stable.
Yeah.
So how has it been a pillar for you in transforming your?
So one of the things, again, this is, I got to give all the credit to my wife. By being a tax strategist, she educated me on the benefits of having investment property from a tax perspective, right? And so that was one of the things. But from just from an economical aspect of it, like because I'm dual career, I'm currently furloughed right now, right? So I'm not getting paid. I'm going to work.
I was going to say
I'm not getting paid, but I'm
Right.
going to work, right? It's been over 40-something days, right? The last time it was 30-something days. That's 70 days, right? And so think about that. So not getting paid for almost two checks. You got to have other streams of income, right?
And I'm still stuck on you still got to go to work.
Still got to go to work. Yeah, still got to go to work. They called me essential, but how essential if I'm not
Right.
getting paid? But
Right.
hey, but listen, I'm grateful for just the opportunity. But to answer your question, it's important for you to have multiple streams of income. And for me, the
Yes.
real estate piece has been a great benefit because when income is not coming in, the property management funds are coming in, the rental properties are coming in, the flips are coming in, the home improvement, jobs are coming in. So it allows me to have other streams of income. So when that income's not there, I'm able to sustain myself. And I'll just be very, very open. Like for instance, right now, because money hasn't been coming in, I was able to pull money from one of my properties to be able to sustain myself, right? Until
Right.
I'm able to, get unfurloughed, I guess, right?
Right.
So and again, the type of loan is called a DSCR loan. They didn't look at my tax returns. They didn't look at my any
Things
of
that you'll learn if you become an investor.
Don't give her too much, okay?
Yeah, I know.
All right. Yeah,
Things that you'll learn if you become an investor because it's not a traditional way of thinking.
It's not a traditional way of thinking, but I wanted to throw that out there because people say, well, I don't have a job, I don't have this, I don't have
Right.
that. Listen, there are some asset-driven opportunities where they don't care about those things. You just got to have the vision and the mindset to be able to shift to one of those opportunities.
And with clear vision, mindset, and then you have to make plans. And if you need to build your credit up or save some money, like put tangible goals in place
Yeah.
that you can actually achieve. I try to, like 90 days at a time. That's something I did for me. What can I do in 90 days? I know what the big plan, I know what the long term, I know what the big objective is.
Yeah.
But what can I get done in next 90 days? At least three things, and it might be simple like getting a real estate license or getting a property management license. You know, it might be something like that before you say, I want to be X, Y, and Z. If it's an investing in real estate that we're talking about, you might need to just take a course.
And one of my good friends, he's one of my mentors as well. He's an entrepreneur. He says something that's funny, but it's so true. You got to change your circle too, right?
Oh, yeah.
If your homegirls, y'all going out to brunch, y'all, having a good time and y'all just spending money, right? And but you're not really making any plans, any business moves. That's nothing but a nonprofit, right? If you're just gonna go hang out and just talk and just, and just shoot the bobo, it's
Just
like
go to brunch once a month.
once a month, but then get around people that's like-minded, that's going to be able to give you some ideas, right? Give you some mindset changes that will allow you to look at things differently. Like I can pick up the phone and call you, and we can talk about property management issues that I call you and say, look, this is the problem that I'm dealing with. Hey, how do I solve this, right? And being able to pick up the phone and talk to people to help you with business moves, that goes a long way.
And get in couples. Get
Definitely
out with
couples.
other couples
Yeah,
because I do think in marriage sometimes we get comfortable. We might do date nights, we might not socialize as much.
Right.
But your circle may need to change or has to change now because you are a married person. But there are other married couples, and I know sometimes married people may or may not go out as much because of the cost factors. I don't know. I don't know if it's cost or comfortable
Listen, there's so much things
But
you can do out here for
I was going to
free.
say, but there are a lot of things that you can do, or just have somebody over and cook dinner, or order in. If you don't want to cook, order in, and just spend time with somebody else that not that you can rub shoulders together and get whether it's your creative juices, your entrepreneurial juices, or just marriage talk. It's really good. I think the thing for you to do. That's one of the important or key components in creating the Marriagepreneur village. I don't want it just to be another club, but I want it to be a place where people can network and just even feel the positivity and the love. I see you. That was part of my mission, finding my tribe. I see you. I understand, and I'm here if you need to talk, or if you just, you have a business opportunity. Like, we can do it all.
Absolutely. No, I think that's so important. Because again, you need a community. You need people to bounce ideas with, and just people who can understand,
where you are and what you're trying to do.
peaks and valleys of life being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So we're going to cut the conversation right here. I do thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
We're going to continue this conversation though offline. I got some things I want to ask you.
Okay.
Offline. So if you want to see us offline, you're going to have to join the Marriagepreneur Village, and we will see you soon. Keep building, keep blossoming, and keep flourishing to everything that God wants you to be. Thank you.